Hi, Scott Lackman from 4510 TV. Today, viewers, on the episode, we've got our new councillor for Division 3 of the Moreton Bay Regional, Adam Hain. G'day, Adam.
G'day Scotty, how are you, mate?
Good. Adam, I wanted you to come on the program because you've been in the hot seat in the new job for a couple of months now since the last council elections. Division 3, which encapsulates the main part of Caboolture and Morayfield. Tell us how you've settled in.
Yeah, it's going quite well, mate. Once we got through budgets, I was able to get down to the real business. Yep. and looking at projects and design and planning and that sort of thing and what's happening for us over the next 4-year term.
Yeah, it's a big 4 years ahead of you because, as you know, I'm in real estate and I'm sure our audience knows that as well. We always get excited about growth of the area and new projects and what can Caboolture offer to our residents. So very exciting over the next few years, and I guess that's why we're standing on site here today. We're on James Street and Matthew Terrace in the background of us. Can you paint a bit of a picture of an idea that's coming to town?
Yeah, sure. Very exciting project here, right here on James Street and along Matthew Terrace in front of the train line as well. It's part of our Complete Streets program at Moreton Bay. I formerly was a project manager of a document called Complete Streets, better streetscape designs, better neighbourhood designs and theories around that. And Moreton Bay, to their credit, actually formulated a team called the Complete Streets team.
Yep.
And the first real project is for Caboolture for the CBD here and revamping James Street and Matthew Terrace.
Yep. Now Adam's supplied us with some conceptual artwork of that, so we'll have that on overlay probably as we're speaking now. But it's pretty exciting. Just step a bit more into detail what that streetscaping looks like.
Okay, well, let's just have a look down here. This footpath here, for instance, will be about another 2.5 metres wider, and so will the other footpath on the other side, so it'll narrow it down to just two single lanes running through. I've got meetings coming up with TransLink and certain other people to try and redirect the buses to run around the block instead of up and down here. We want it to be an area where the people take over, so obviously these new footpaths will become the stylish coloured sort of pebblecrete and coloured concrete with seating, artwork, trees all along it. Actually at the traffic lights at either end where you can see those lights, those cars down, that traffic island will actually become a garden bed itself. And the intersection there will become a raised sort of a coloured sort of a pebblecrete sort of an intersection across from the train station as well.
So we're creating almost like a mall effect, and at the same time those traffic calmers, those speed humps as such, hopefully it reduces the traffic as well. And obviously a safe space for people to access. They're going to come straight off the train line or locally here and have an easier pedestrian access into the CBD.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. We see it as the gateway. This is still a major traffic hub, this train station. And as people come off of it, and this is the city centre, it needs to look a little bit better than it is. I mean, obviously there was a lot of work done on King Street some years ago, but that's a fair way in the past now, and the hub and everything else. But this portion of town here, as you can see, it's a car park, and it's not a very good look for newcomers to the area. It's not very becoming at all.
No, I congratulate her on that. It is exciting to have a bit of a refresh of the local streets. I guess looking forward, Adam, there's so many things that we could do in Caboolture to beautify the place. I think it's beautiful anyway, but to beautify it, there's a conceptual idea at the moment of down near the Centenary Lakes. Esme Street, which is at the back of, locals might know Scott Damien's restaurant. So that Esme Street that runs along the back there, what do you think's planned for that part of the Centenary Lakes?
It's futuristic at this point, but it has been earmarked as a place that we want to look at. And there's been comments around boardwalks along the front of the lakes there and things like that. And I certainly agree that the trees there need to be trimmed back a bit and open up the view of the lakes a bit better. Put a boardwalk there and make it a bit more of a people-friendly space as well. And look, the theory for us is that if we show investment into the town and we start spending money, then hopefully investors will follow our lead and appreciate that we're making an effort. And from that, we will hopefully see the front of the CBD overlooking the lakes to turn around and beautify that whole precinct. And James Street here, the dirt car park here, as everyone calls it, if we can bring that back to green space, we create a linkage here from James Street up through the alleyways and up into King Street and then connect back down on the Esme and futuristically, when that all comes together, it could be quite exciting.
Yeah, and again, it is ultralism that we're talking about. That we'll have some naysayers, and no doubt, looking down the camera, the site of Beer Barron Place has been on a lot of people's mind for a long time. But just that next step of actually thinking about being proactive. To redevelop that site. First, you're going to say, well, where do people park? But I'm sure there's some ideas to cover that parking issue, but more just that green space. I think it will definitely dress up this back end of town.
Yeah, well, you'll find a lot of the parking in the CBD, and I think this has been a bit of a sore point over the years. Whenever you take parking away or you change the rates and the hours you can park in places, you're never going to cater to everybody, but like that green space there, for instance, or what should have been a green space, is that's all-day parking from people that come from far and wide and use our town as a car park. Look, that's really a Queensland rail issue, and state government need to step up and start funding where to put their commuters, because they're defacing our town, and my job is to make sure our town looks good and becomes a people place where businesses can flourish on a Friday and Saturday night, so that the locals here can go out and have a wine and have a good time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you're a positive fellow, Adam, and I can see over this next term, the next 4 years, there's going to be some great things happening in Division 3, let alone across the wider Moreton Bay region. Anything else you'd like to cover today? I know you've been flat out for a couple of months since getting the job, but what else is on the calendar, mate?
Yeah, look, I'll just finish off on this story that we're working on here. This James Street and Matthew Terrace project isn't a would-be maybe. It's actually happening. So it'll probably kick off in about March next year. We're looking for a completion date around October, November, and so it's absolutely definitely happening. All the businesses that are front this street here are very excited. And once we renovate down along Matthew Terrace there in front of the train station, it's going to link up with what we've now officially definitely going ahead with is the Wamuran Rail Trail corridor. So it's a bikeway between Caboolture and Wamuran, an 11.5 kilometre parkland, if you will, that goes underneath bridges and overpasses. And I've actually gone up and down it on my mountain bike, and it's awesome. It's really pretty trail, and it'll link to this Complete Streets project, and that is also a Complete Streets project. So Complete Streets design is all the sexy stuff, really. Okay. And so when people get off the train station here, they can link and go up that trail, and I think it'll be a real tourist attraction. Yeah,
most definitely. I'm smiling because the old pineapple train from Wamuran into Caboolture, I used to live in Bertha Street as a kid, and used to borrow a few pineapples off the train when it parked there at night time. So some good memories of the old Pineapple Express up to Wamuran. So just want to say thanks, Adam, for joining us on 4510 TV, and we might catch up in the next quarter and see what's happening with council.
Scotty.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. Good on you.